Ian. I'm coming out a little early today. I am in this quest to get my 300 subscribers today. I'm probably like 14 people away. I've been at the YouTube broadcast probably going on 3.5, 4 months. So I'm right there. I haven't exactly looked to see when I first came on, but anyway, that's what I'm doing today. So I said if I have to do a triple header, it seems like more people sign up when I'm online. So we're going to do that. But normally what I do, and I'm going to do a segment on this later, is I do a This Day in African American Baseball History. So like today I would cover like October the 31st. However, a few days ago, I was thinking about a ball player I spoke about, but I didn't spend enough time on him because I was just doing my This Day in Black Baseball History. I usually try to keep it to around 20 minutes. And so it's kind of hard to really spotlight one particular player and talk about him as in depth as I would like to. So I wanted to revisit one of those players. And another thing that made me think about it, that I need to go back and talk about him is because later on in my broadcast, I'm going to talk about Bob Thurman. Bob Thurman was born on this date. Now the year is in dispute. And the reason the year is in dispute because a lot of times these guys would move their age back to appear younger in order to get signed by National American League teams. So I remember years ago, I was probably in my early 20s. I might have been 19, 20. I wrote Cy Berger, Topps Baseball Card Company, and I was debating that they had the birth date wrong on the back of a player's baseball card. And I was correct, Cy Berger, and the card was wrong. But Cy pointed out to me in a letter, I wish I would have kept this letter, but he pointed out that many of the ball players did move their date of birth backwards to make sure that they could get signed. So they didn't want to appear as old as they were and not get the opportunity, even though they were still good ball players. But people are looking at your age and thinking, how long can we employ this guy? So many of them moved their age back. I remember there was a ball player I was coaching, and I went to Buck O'Neill. I say, Buck, I got a guy playing for me. He can really hit, but this guy's got a major league arm already. Matter of fact, this ball player, his name was Keith Jones. He just passed away last year. It might have been earlier this year. And so anyway, Keith Jones, he had a great arm. I mean, my goodness, his arm. I probably had two players that have arms like that, maybe three in 30 something years of coaching, but he had a great arm. And I went to Buck and I said, I got this ball player. Buck said, how old is he? I said, he's probably about 22. Buck said, you might want to move his age back. See, so that was real common that ball players had to do that. So when you're checking these guys, especially from the Negro Leagues who go up to the major leagues, always double check their date of birth. And you probably, if you can, go into the census record and make sure that you have the correct date of birth, because I'm always finding incorrect date of birth on different people. So anyway, so this is October 31st, and since it was Bob Thurman's birthday, I see somebody else saying they got a birthday today. By the way, happy birthday. And since it's Bob Thurman's birthday, he moved his age back. I thought I would go back and revisit a guy by the name of Al Pinkston. Now, Al Pinkston died in 1981. Let's see. He died in March 18, 1981. So these are people that I was able to interact with. I interacted more with his wife after he passed away. And Pinkston was such a great baseball player. But once again, he was born in 1917. So by the time they start integrating, he's almost approaching age 30. But this guy could really play. And it's really a shame that he didn't get as good a look as he should have. He played in Mexico for a number of years toward the end of his career, well past 40. And his nickname in Mexico was called the Ruler. Man, this guy, he ruled the baseball down there. And I was going through some photographs, and these are photographs I've never released online, so I'm just kind of showing them to you here. He had played with the Cleveland Buckeyes. Now, I'm not sure exactly from where they signed him, but he was signed by the old Philadelphia Athletics, who ended up coming to Kansas City and became the Kansas City Athletics, who were the first team I followed. But this is a picture here of these guys who were all signed with the Athletics, and they're playing in Canada in 1942. These are the guys, and it's got some pretty good, interesting people in here. Hector Lopez, he played for a number of years with the A's, went over to the Yankees. Bob Trice, I think he would have been one of the first early black ball players, and who played for the A's, and he actually played in Kansas City. I have more than one picture of him. Of course, right here is Pinkston there, and then there's Joe Taylor that was also with them, and Joe Taylor ended up coming up and playing in the big leagues, but not Pinkston. And so let's talk about Al Pinkston quickly, because I just want to do this in 10 minutes, guys. And so who was Al Pinkston? Okay, this is what I kind of summarized as I was putting together some stuff. So he was born in New Bern, Alabama. And when I was doing my little interview, I have these sheets here. These are all interviews, things I wrote down, man, way back, believe it or not, 1980, 81. And in this particular case, he was from Hale County, H-A-L-E County, Alabama, born October. And now, this is what's interesting. Here, it says, of course, October 22nd. And so that's when I talked about him, if you want to go back and hear that broadcast. Okay, so that was him. Of course, he played for the Cleveland Buckeyes. They have that online if you go and search his name. But he also played for New Orleans in the Negro Southern League. And then, of course, he married his wife. He was married for 38 years. And his wife was one of the people who corresponded with me. I still have one of the envelopes here that I kept over the years. And, you know, it's interesting. She didn't really put her name down. I have to look in here to see if I actually have it, because what they would put down there is Miss Al Pinkston. So, you know, they were proud to be the wives of these men. So they would put down Miss Al Pinkston. And somewhere I have her name. I will pull it out. And, wow. I have to dig. I have it somewhere around here. She's not just Miss Al Pinkston. And of course, he passed away in 1981 in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I presented in Fort Wayne. Of course, I have not presented in New Bern, Alabama, but I've certainly presented in Fort Wayne, Indiana there. So there's some great history there too. So, and he played, let's see, his last few years, 1965 in the Mexican League. And this guy, I'm trying to think, I have so many notes here just all over the place, but I'm gonna pull just a few. I'm gonna read right off the sheet here. Played 18 years of professional baseball, started in Mexico in 1958, played for the Mexican City Reds, the Rojos, 1958-59. Then 1960, played for Veracruz. He won 3 more batting titles. And how about this? In 1952, this guy won the Triple Crown of the Canadian, whatever, Provincial League. And that particular year, he was age 34 at that time, and he had played 125 games, 480 at-bats, 103 runs scored, 173 hits, 34 doubles, 30 home runs, 121 RBIs, and a 360 batting average. Never got a chance. And they had to know this guy was approaching an advanced age. The best he could do, he went to spring training with the Philadelphia Athletics. So it could have been, let's see, they came to Kansas City in 55, yeah. So it would have been the Kansas City Athletics. He went to spring training with them in 1955. That's the best they could do. Got him to spring training and nothing else. And so that was in 1955. And his big saying was, I never got any recognition in my own country. And so guys, we're out here trying to change that. His nickname was Pinky. He weighed about 224 pounds, was 6 feet 5.5, wore a 13 size shoe, a 16.5 neck with a 37 sleeve. Now guys, this is the kind of history I did. I asked detailed questions. I wasn't just happy to get somebody's name and of course to get something on a newspaper. I went in detail and I talked to people and I talked to people And this is the way that I changed the way that we all think about baseball history. And I always have to tell people that I've, doing this for 40, 45 years, I never had a job. Guys, I never had a job. This was a passion. And I always tell people that I wasn't selected to do this, I was chosen. And I was chosen from the man above. And that's the reason why, guys, we're celebrating some of these guys now, because when I was a kid, they did not celebrate them. It took someone to come along and change that philosophy. Most people want to say, well, the first book I read was Robert Peterson's Only the Ball is White. Guys, if you read my book, The Negro Baseball Leagues, A Photographic History, it changes everything. Because I didn't just cherry pick who I thought was the best players. I began to talk about guys, all these guys on the team, because everyone mattered to me. When I played baseball, it wasn't no big you and little me. Guys, we couldn't play the game with one man. We had to have 9 men on the field at all times to play the game. And the better those 9 men played together, the better we won. And the better that one guy played. And if he played really good, we were playing on all African-American teams, all of a sudden the white teams would come and they want to steal that one guy. They didn't want to take the rest of the guys, but they wanted to steal that one guy. But that one guy wouldn't have been who he was without the rest of us. And so that is the story that we get. And I'm talking about Al Pinkston, guys. So look him up. Al Pinkston, that was one picture I had of him. I do have another picture of him when he's trying out for the Braves. That's another picture right here. These pictures I've never included in any books. This is a picture of Pinkston batting. Yep. This is a photograph of Al Pinkston. I think this one is down in Mexico. Yep, down in Mexico. And of course, I have articles. Guys. Many of them, believe it or not, in Spanish. And lots of articles that I would clip and bring from different places and talk about Pinky. They said age put finger on Pinky, the 220-pound slugger. Age put 220-pound slugger. Pinky, that's a heck of a nickname. And boy, Pinky sounds like a soft nickname. This guy wasn't soft at all. And then here's an article that says, don't pity Pinkston. He's ruler in Mexico. Yeah, that's a good story there. There's some more stuff right here. Al Pinkston. And I'll show you one more image of Al Pinkston. This is him playing for one of the A's minor league teams. And I was looking over this picture here. And I remember one of the guys in here, he ended up being manager. His name is Joe Gordon. He ended up being manager of the Kansas City Royals when I was a kid. And I can remember being about 6th or 7th grade, and Gordon was having a horrible season. And, you get those hecklers in the stands, and I can remember them saying, put in Joe Gordon, let him bat. He can't be any worse than the rest of the players. And that was when I was a kid. I was always wondering why these people were yelling at the players. So I just couldn't watch the game. But there are people who can't watch a game without yelling. And so I kind of learned to do that. Now, you don't see the hecklers as much like you used to. Back then, 2 things. I saw a lot of hecklers who come to the park. And then I saw everybody used to bring, not everybody, but many people bought transistor radios. So they would listen to the broadcast of the announcer as they're watching the game and help them to focus more on the game. Nowadays, these people, when they go to the game, they're looking for something funny, something in between the innings, and then do the hot dog race or you know what I'm saying, guys. They're going to do the kiss cam or something like that. But back then, guys, I saw some people who really loved baseball, and they made me love baseball. And that's the reason why I'm here today. All these years later, 40-some-odd years later, talking to you about a person named Al Pinkston. So guys, I appreciate this. Hey, and if you like this kind of information, be sure and sign up and hit that subscription, guys. I'm 14 away. I looked this morning, 14, maybe 15, 14, 13 away from 300. That's my goal. I have to set goals, guys. It's kind of like playing basketball. If you took away the goals, nobody would know what the score was, because you got to have a goal to know that you scored. So my goal was to hit 300. And guys, but if I hit more than that, hey, I'll be tickled like Pinky. So anyway, I just want to thank you all for joining in this morning, and happy birthday to you. And somebody said my grandpa died. I don't know if that is today or when. Always sorry to hear someone who's lost a family member. I've lost many of mine. When I was born, my father was 49, and so my mother was 44, and my mother lived to be about 10 days from 97. So I was happy to have her all those years. My father lived to be about 85, and they were my inspiration. They were the people who always stood behind me, and they believed that I was going to make a difference. And so I tried to make a difference in baseball history. A lot of people have never heard of me, but I have books out there. You can go get the books. I have award-winning books. I have biographies. I have team histories. I have a lot, but I'm not finished yet. I'm still writing and still researching. And now that I've started this, I get a chance to talk about some people that maybe I wouldn't have a chance to talk about otherwise. So hopefully you're learning something and it's been interesting. So thank you very much. Be sure to subscribe if you like what I'm doing. I would love that, and I'll be happy to interact with you. I'm going to keep on coming to you. So thank you, everyone, and I'm signing off for now, but I'll be back maybe 2 more times tonight. It's going to be tough, that last one, because it's going to have to be after the trick-or-treaters, all right? Okay, thank you, guys. You have a nice evening.